discussing mobile broadband and how you can do it in your van for the least amount of money possible. So staying connected when you're out and about in your camper van, you've really got one obvious choice, which is to use a data contract from a mobile phone provider. I'm going to overlay some typical costs that we see in the UK, just doing a comparison on Money Supermarket. They vary depending on how much data and how long the contract lasts and with what networks. And usually they're about £10 to £15 a month, depending on how much data you actually want to use. So let's say you've selected a data plan, you're happy with that. You need some way of delivering that connection to your devices in your van, whether that's your streaming TV, your laptops, or anything else that needs internet connectivity. Now there are a couple of options and routes you could go down. One is the sort of small USB rechargeable style mobile broadband modems, usually from Huawei or a similar company. I've tried these myself, and to be honest, I've had limited success with them. Sometimes they work great, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they'll connect one device and it'll be fine. If you add a second, then all things start to go wrong. I didn't really find them that reliable. Now you can improve the signal on these smaller devices. Some of them allow you to fit external areas which you can fit to the outside of your van to pick up more signal and generally be a bit more reliable. But I found the actual handling of the data themselves on these smaller devices isn't quite what it should be, and in my experience a little bit unreliable. It might be different in your country, but that's certainly what I've seen when I've used it myself. Another option is to go the full motorhome install route. Some of those are on screen for you now, but as you can see, the prices really start to ramp up once you're installing that sort of level of system. Some of them typically are sort of £350, which is about $500-ish. So it does get quite expensive pretty quickly. I mean, the other alternative you could do is you could hotspot your mobile phone. It saves you data contract, maybe. The problem you'll probably find is most vans are sort of a metal box, and pretty much if you're in an area where there's some signal limitation anyway, you would find that drop off quite a bit, and it's sort of inconvenient using your own phone because you might want to use that for calls and other things. There's a big drain on the battery, and depending on what data plan you got, they may not be suited for you at all. So I've come up with a different idea, a different take on it, all with a budget in mind, and I think you can do it for under £100 or sort of $60 to $70. So what do I use? So as discussed at the beginning of the video, I've got a data plan, very similar to the ones you've seen in there, separate from my mobile phone contract. And what I decided to do was use a couple of things to make this a little bit cheaper and do it on a budget. So firstly, I've got my old Android phone. Now this is a Motorola G30, I believe it is. It's a good phone. I used it for a few years. It's actually got a crack on the screen, so it's really got no retail value other than sort of spares or repairs, but it still functions perfectly well. So I've put the data SIM into this to use as a hotspotting device. The battery lasts way longer than the mobile 4G routers, and I find the connection way more stable. Now that deals with the connectivity point of view. Oh, and by the way, if you don't have, most people have an old phone hanging around that they could reuse for this purpose, but if you don't, I'm sure you could be able to pick up an Android device or an Apple device, come to that, but an Android device from Marketplace or somewhere similar with a bit of damage, a bit like mine, for a pretty reasonable cost. So that's one element to it, but you've still got the problem of being in a metal box and the signal being reduced. So what I decided to do is to buy one of these unbreakable pouches. Now, I'm not sure if they are actually unbreakable. I'll just take it out of the box. You get several different types of these, Amazon and eBay and various other places, and I'm sure you've seen them before, but they're a lockable, or sealable should I say, waterproof pouch for your mobile phone. So the plan is with this is to take that pop the phone inside of there, hotspot in it, and then I've got a magnetic plate on the back of this from an old case. I've got some rare earth magnets here, which are secure to the outside through the case. I'll pop it in the case in a minute, and then just secure that to the roof of the van when parked up. That way it's not going to go anywhere, it's protected from the weather. You can still actually touch the phone and do stuff through the cover of this. It will definitely keep it dry, and it will give you good signal and a more reliable connection for your devices, in my experience anyway. And I think you could probably do all this for, like I said, under £100, under $60 or $70. So it's just the unbreakable waterproof case, which you can get from Amazon or eBay, anywhere you like. Some rare earth magnets, again, you can pick these up from anywhere really, but Amazon again can do that for you. And an old mobile phone, which you probably don't use anymore. Like I said, this phone is perfectly usable, other than the fact the screen is cracked and it's got a little bit old. But for what we want to do, it makes absolute sense. If you haven't used these pouches before, you simply unlock from the top, and that opens the pouch. You can see the way it's hinged there. I'll just take out the inlay. It does say to make sure with the card to test these that they are waterproof before you actually put your phone in them. I've got another one which I've tried. And then simply slide the phone into the pouch. Put the locks into position. And that's sealed shut. So with the phone inside of the pouch now, the locks sealed at the top. That is all secure from water. As you can see, I can push the buttons, actually slide and unlock the phone, no problem at all, through the case. Now onto the back, like I said, I've already got a little magnetic adapter from an old car mount that I used to have. But if you don't have that, then you can simply just stick the magnets to the back of the case. Don't have to be round ones, could be any shape you like, and use that then to stick to the body of your van, either on the roof or somewhere out the way, so you make sure you get the best signal that you possibly can. So as you can see, well, perhaps not the most elegant solution in the world, it actually has got some function. And as I said, if you've already got an old mobile device you could use for this purpose, then I think it gives it a new lease of life. Saves it going just stuck in a drawer somewhere or not being used or sold for parts. You can actually do this, and I found this far more reliable than using the smaller style Huawei routers, or not just Huawei's, but those typical type of small routers. To be fair, I haven't actually tried a large motorhome sort of install one like the ones I showed in the overlay, but they're a lot of money. This can be done, like I said, for under £100, under $60 or $70. Give it a try, see what you think. Let me know below. If you've watched this video, thank you very much. I'd appreciate if you could give it a like and subscribe. That would be fantastic, and I'll see you in the next one.